Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. So, I've not uploaded in a while. It's been like a month or so, I think, and it's probably going to be a little while before I start uploading again, like weekly. I don't know when, if it's whenever I feel like it. But I've been just focusing on other things, focusing on other areas of my life, and just taking a break from both YouTube and DDO. I've been playing DDO really at all lately, the past month or so. And I tend to do this every year. I did this last year too, where I didn't upload for quite a while and I didn't play for quite a while. Just it's the new year, just focusing on getting things set for 2020 and just again other areas of my life. Been spending a lot of time in that. So I have been following the game though, and this is the time of year where they're really starting to ramp up things because they've all been off. Developers have been off for the holidays, and now they're really getting back to work, and they're getting ready to release update 45 probably in the next few weeks. And there are a crap load of changes, and also a new class, Alchemist. And this is the first thing that caught my eye, these changes, so I wanted to talk about them. Basically, these are changes to two-handed fighting. There have been a lot of issues with two-handed fighting, and I personally am interested in this because that's my favorite way to play. I love playing two-handed fighting. It's always been my favorite of any casting or ranged or any other melee style. It's always been my favorite way to play DDO. And it's been kind of a sad existence the past recent while in DDO trying to play a two-handed fighting character because it's been obvious that the style has been behind the other ones, and that's something they're trying to fix. The problem with two-handed fighting is the DPS just hasn't matched that of other styles. A couple issues why. They're kind of the gimmick or special feature of two-handed fighting is the glancing blows that they did. And the problem with glancing blows is that they don't scale well at all. So they're just a percentage of a normal hit. So they don't apply things like double strike, for example. And that can be a big issue because especially when you get into like legendary and stuff, glancing blows do like what? Like at best like 20-30% of a normal attack. And it just doesn't matter that much. And two-handed fighting also, again, is their attack speed's not too great either. So because of that, there's not really been a good reason to play two-handed fighting lately. I mean, their niche is supposed to be like AoE, but they just don't do that well at all. I mean, that's why they've been historically given feats like cleave and stuff. Of course, I guess other styles can do that too, but two-handed fighting's niche has kind of always been AoE, and that's what they're trying to focus on. So they've revamped this a lot. Actually not a lot. What they're mainly doing is they're replacing glancing blows are going to be removed from the game, and they're going to replace by a new mechanic called strike through. So let's just go ahead and just read a bit of this post. So this is what Coco Majobo, a developer, had to say, and this is all on preview right now on the preview server on Lamania. Not in game yet, and it's all also still prone to being changed. So this could be thrown out completely or tweaked a little bit or not. But historically, once they post something on Lamania forums, it's rarely changed completely. Usually what happens is it's not changed at all once they post it on Lamania for the first time, or if they do change it, they just tweak it a little bit. That's normally what happens, just a small tweak here or there, but it's pretty likely, almost for surely, this is going to go into the game like this. So let's go ahead and read. Hello all, glancing blows game-wide have been replaced with a new mechanic, strike through. While wielding a two-handed weapon, or while wielding a bastard sword or dwarven axe in your main hand and a shield, orb, rune arm, or nothing in your offhand, your attacks can strike through. When your attacks can strike through, every attack has a strike through chance, to hit an additional target. By default, players have a 20% strike through chance, which can be improved through feats and enhancements, and cannot strike through while moving. If your strike through chance is over 100, you are guaranteed to hit a second target if in range on your attack, and chance to hit a third. By default, you can only strike through while standing still. Okay, so a couple things. So by default, your strike through chance is 20%, and as you can see here, I'm not going to read all this, but through the two-handed fighting feats, you're going to increase this 20% for each feat. So base two-handed fighting, improved two-handed fighting, graded two-handed fighting, and perfect two-handed fighting. That's going to give you an extra 80%, which is going to bring you up to a total of 100% because 20% is base. So what that means is if you have 100% strike through, you're always going to hit your main target, of course, unless you roll, a 1 or something and miss. But you're going to hit your main target, and you're always going to get a second hit on another nearby target. And the great thing about strike through is that that second hit on your other target is going to work just like another attack. So presumably it's going to scale with double strike and everything else you would have from a normal attack. So that's great. It can crit. That's another big problem with glancing blows. In the past, the glancing blows could not crit, but apparently for strike through, your second hit can crit. So you can have, if you have two enemies in front of you, you have on your main target and another one, say, standing like on your side, on the side of you, you can get 2 full attacks if you have 200% strike through. Or if you have like 150% strike through and you get lucky, you'll have a 50% chance to get a second attack. Also, they did say that this can build up into a third attack. So if your strike through chance is, and I think I said 150. If it's 50%, even if your strike through chance is only 50%, you'll get your guaranteed main hit, unless you roll 1, and you'll get a 50% chance to get a second hit. But if your strike through chance is over 100, you have a chance also to hit a third. So let's say your strike through chance is 120%. You'll hit your main target, you'll be guaranteed to hit a second target, and you'll have a 20% chance to hit a third target. So that's how it works right now. And there's other feat, other than just the combat feats, there's other feats with other classes that they go through here that also are going to now affect strike through, because obviously anything in the game that affected glancing blows has to be taken out and replaced with strike through chance now. So this, I think, I've seen some people complain just because there's a give and a take here. Oh, and also one thing I want to point out is that by default, you can only strike through while standing still, but if you just take one of these two-handed fighting feats, you can also do it while moving. So if you can see right here, just take two-handed fighting, you can do it while moving. So that's great. Okay, couple, the response to this seems to be very mixed. Obviously, just on the surface, like against two enemies, it's going to be a huge boost, obviously. One other thing that some people pointed out is that it can be as of right now, it looks like it could be a DPS loss against single targets and against huge groups of mobs. So like 5, 6, 7 groups of mobs, because glancing blows obviously apply to everything in your attack range. And they also applied to your initial attack, like on your primary target. So with glancing blows, you would have more DPS than strike through, presumably against more than 3 groups of mobs for sure, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll have more DPS because your glancing blow can hit all of them, whereas strike through can only hit like 2. But I don't know how that's going to play out, because again, even though you might look at that and say like, oh, you would have more DPS against, say, like 8 enemies, the fact that your strike through is going to be so much better against your like second and possibly third target may make up for it. I don't know. I'd have to see, because even though you would get your glancing blows the way it works currently on live against 8 mobs, you would get more DPS against the 2 or maybe 3 mobs that your strike through is affecting. So I don't know how much of a loss that is. It's just a thing where like I would have to play and get a feel for it. The other thing is glancing blows applied to your primary target, whereas strike through will not, because obviously strike through is just a mechanic that gives you an extra hit, right? So it's not going to apply to your primary target the way that glancing blows did. So therefore, some people are kind of complaining that some builds or your single target DPS might go down. Now they did say, let's see, there was, I'm sorry, I cannot find it right now, but one of the devs commented that they've made up for the single target loss in a different way, in a different feat. I've seen some debate against that, but they are taking that into account, and they did throw a buff somewhere else. Sorry, I can't find it right now, but they did try to balance out that single target loss. So they've taken feedback on that, and it sounds like they're going to try to buff two-handed fighting in a way that makes that single target loss not happen, so that hopefully you'll have the same single target DPS with strike through as you did with glancing blows. So I think they're still kind of talking back and forth with people and trying to come up with a good solution for that, because they basically gave us a solution, proposed a solution, and some people were criticizing it in this thread, and it sounds like they're now going back to the table. But in any case, I'm not really concerned about that. I think the way what will happen is your single target DPS will end up being similar, because that, again, is their goal. And then their other main goal, obviously, is to make two-handed fighting have its niche of AoE DPS, so to make it stand out from the other combat styles. Be separate from, say, like single weapon fighting and two-weapon fighting, which are more focused on single target DPS. Two-handed fighting is supposed to be the king of DPS. So it's good to see. I mean, they have been working, obviously, to buff two-handed fighting some, because they've made other changes, like the changes to Fury of the Wild, Epic Destiny, for example. They made changes to try to make that better for two-handed fighting. So it's good. That makes me really happy, because, guys, that is one of the things that has really bothered me the most in the game. I mean, it hasn't just been with the cleric trees, particularly War Priest. That's been really disappointing for me and kind of makes me not want to play the game, because I'm not like most players. I've tried throughout my decade plus of playing DDO. I have tried almost every class, and I just like playing what I like playing. I like playing a melee cleric. That's what I've always enjoyed more than any other class. And when that class is struggling in the meta so much, it really does take some fun out of it for me. Like, I don't care to play the best build in the game or the top tier build. I've never wanted that, but I've noticed, particularly the past year, man, it's a struggle to even solo Reaper 1s on this character, even though I have really good gear. I've built it well, but I'm still struggling to solo low Reapers, which, yeah, Reaper mode isn't intended to be a solo difficulty, but fact of the matter is there's a lot of builds in game, the top tier builds, that can solo low Reapers without a problem. And the fact that my character, even though I built it well, struggles so much to solo just Reaper 1, in the fact that even when I run mid Reapers and stuff in groups, I kind of feel like dead weight sometimes, particularly in not unless the group needs healing. But if the group doesn't need healing, kind of feel like dead weight. I don't like that. I want my build to feel, it doesn't need to be the best, but I want it to feel viable. I want to feel like I contribute all the time, and I want to be able to at least solo Reaper 1, which would be great, without too much trouble. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to these changes. I know there's been some really valid criticisms of some of the effects it can have on certain builds, like builds that use effects and things with the strike through. But we'll see how it goes. I think in any case, I don't really see how this is. Some people I think are saying ridiculous things like this is a nerf, which I don't see at all. I mean, the fact that you can get a full attack now that can crit, that scales with double strike on multiple targets now, 2 up to 3 targets. That sounds amazing. That's going to be a huge DPS increase. So I don't see how this is anything but a really good buff, at least for most builds. So yeah, so this sounds great to me. I'm looking forward to update 45 so I can actually try this. So guys, let me know what you think about this. What do you think about this change? I would be interested in reading that. And if I feel like it, again, I'm kind of taking some time off of both DDO and YouTube. But if I feel like it, I might go through some of the other big topics, big changes for update 45 this week and make videos on them, maybe. Just depends if I feel like it. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. Again, let me know what you think about this change, and hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Have a good one, and take care.